In this video, we're going to discuss one of the most famous surprise twist endings in TV history. It's been 32 years since Newhart sounded off for the last time. Recently, however, Bob Newhart has finally opened up and addressed the series' sensational finale. Keep watching to learn the astonishing origin story of the show's ending while seeing what the man himself had to say about it. Life is but a dream. On the evening of May 21, 1990, Bob Newhart's second sitcom, Newhart, came to an end. The series finale featured one of the most memorable and notorious endings in TV history. For 8 seasons, the comedian portrayed Dick Loudon, an author from New York, who left the hustle and bustle of the city to run an inn in rural Vermont with his wife, Joanna. While Bob's first series, The Bob Newhart Show, featured an altogether different premise, the 80s series succeeded in drawing big laughs from essentially the same source. Newhart had an incredible delivery and a knack for comedic timing. Similar to his first foray into TV sitcoms, Newhart featured Bob as the lone voice of sanity amidst a community comprised of oddballs and eccentrics. This direction has been the primary source of Newhart's signature brand of comedy since his early stand-up days in the 60s. The show featured Dr. Bob Hartley's neurotic urban patients as well as his meek neighbor. In Newhart, we had a spoiled chambermaid, a dim-witted Mr. Fix-It, a hopelessly annoying yuppie TV exec, and a trio of quirky woodmen who only one of them, Larry, would ever speak for his brothers, who were both named Darryl. Reportedly while attending a Christmas party in 1987, Newhart told his wife Ginny that he thought the season of the series he was working on would be the last before the network canceled it. Ginny responded that the finale episode should mock another CBS hit show, Dallas, where the 1985 and 86 season was explained as being just one big dream. Similarly, when St. Elsewhere ended in 1988, it was revealed that the entire series took place inside the mind of the main character's autistic son as he peered into a snow globe, featuring a miniature of the hospital where the show was set. Ginny added a plot twist to her version of the "it was all a dream" ending. She suggested that when Newhart woke up, he should be Bob Hartley from the Bob Newhart Show. On top of that, he should be lying in bed next to Suzanne Pleshette, who would reprise her role as Hartley's wife, Emily. Pleshette, who happened to be at that same Christmas party, adored the idea, and when the producers called her 2 years later, she accepted the role before even offered it. In the time between that Christmas party and the series' actual finale, Newhart made peace with the network, but when the time came to film the final episode, he already had the perfect ending idea ready to deploy. This video is brought to you by Established Titles. Have you ever been interested in being a lord or a lady? With Established Titles, now you can become one. For real. You could officially change your name to Lord or Lady and get it on your credit card, plane tickets, etc. You can even get it on your dating profiles. You can purchase title packs that give you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land on a private estate in Eddleston, Scotland. With the purchase, you'll receive an official certificate with a crest. Your certificate features a unique plot number with which you can see the exact location of your land. Established Titles told me that the first 200 people purchasing a title pack using my link will effectively be next to my plot within a few minutes of walking. Depending on how many of you want to become a lord or a lady, we can build our little facts-first kingdom. They plant a tree with every order and work with global charities, One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future, to support global reforestation efforts. It makes an amazing last-minute gift. Established Titles is actually running an early Black Friday sale, plus if you use the code FV10, you get an additional 10% off. Go to establishedtitles.com/FV10 to get your gifts now and help support the channel. The finale took some big risks. Even during filming of the final scene, the aptly named episode The Last Newhart took some seriously big creative risks. The episode begins with a Japanese businessman purchasing the Vermont town that Dick and Joanna called home. He tears it down just to build a golf course. While Dick and Joanna refuse to sell their inn, the rest of the town's off-kilter citizens gladly accept the money and hightail it out of town. 5 years later, however, their neighbors, George Utley, Larry, Darryl, and Darryl, all return expressing guilt that they left. With that, they pledge to stay forever by Dick and Joanna's side. Unable to hear himself think over all the raucous of everyone talking at once, Dick leaves the room only to be swiftly hit in the noggin with a stray golf ball. This scene then cut to the bedroom from the Bob Newhart Show, where Bob Hartley wakes up next to his wife. Emily asks if everything is all right as the studio audience erupts in cheers and applause. Bob goes on to explain he had dreamed about being an innkeeper in a crazy little town in Vermont. He rattled off everything from the town and his dream life that didn't make any sense. Pleshette, as Emily, replies by saying they should no longer have Japanese food before going to bed. But Bob gets the last laugh of the series when he says, "Go to sleep, Emily. You know you really should wear more sweaters." This was, of course, an obvious reference to Joanna's preferred outfit choice. The screen then cut to black. Newhart was worried the ending would leak. Newhart had the writers create a fake ending with the golf ball killing Dick. At that point, he would go to heaven and meet God, who would be played by either George C. Scott or George Burns. Newhart instructed the writers come up with this phony ending in case it got leaked to the tabloids. Pleshette apparently even got a code name to use whenever she had to call the show's producers to make arrangements for when she showed up at the studio. Only director Dick Martin and the show's writers were in on the surprise ending. The rest of the cast was only told the morning of the shoot what was really planned. The crew learned there was a different final scene planned only after they came back from their meal break. By then, the Hartleys' iconic bedroom had already made its way out to the set and was concealed by a curtain. The camera operators were further instructed where they should film from. On top of that, the actors had to nail the final scene in just one take. Pleshette later revealed she had to hide in her trailer for 6 hours without a phone. She went on to describe how nervous she was since she wasn't able to rehearse the scene. In sheer darkness, Pleshette was covertly brought out onto set with her face covered as she got into bed. Bob held her hand and told her to wait for the laugh. Pleshette responded by nervously asking, "What if there isn't one?" Fortunately, there was no need to worry because as soon as Bob turned on the light, the audience immediately recognized the set. When Pleshette was introduced, it was a solid 15 seconds of uproarious applause and laughter before she could speak again. As soon as she heard the gleeful screams of the audience, she knew she was a part of TV history. In 2020, Yahoo Entertainment spoke to Newhart about the unforgettable series finale. He discussed how tabloids had taken the bait with his red herring alternative ending. Apparently, several outlets had reported that George Burns was going to play God in the finale of Newhart, so when that never happened, they all ended up getting burned. That was perfect because when rumors began to spread that Pleshette was going to be in the final episode as well, none of the gossip rags believed it and proceeded to leave Newhart and the writers of the show alone. Larry, Darryl, and Darryl were supposed to be one-off characters. Newhart further revealed to Yahoo that Larry and the Darryl brothers were only supposed to appear on the show one time in the second episode, but they got such an overwhelmingly positive reaction, Bob told the writers they had to have the brothers back for more. Without filming in front of a live studio audience, they never would have realized just how popular they were and probably wouldn't have been featured in future episodes. The brothers went on to appear in about half of the episodes, and in the finale, we got to see their wives, one of whom was portrayed by Lisa Kudrow. A couple years later, she wound up on Friends. When asked by Yahoo if he had expected the finale to have the kind of impact that it did, Bob revealed that in some markets, viewers saw an edit of the episode that was 5 minutes shorter and lacked the ending everyone else saw. This was because the episode ran for 35 minutes with commercials instead of the standard 30. A few stations, particularly in New York, never got the memo about the added length, and this cut off the show's ending right before the commercial break. That meant a significant chunk of the population only ever saw Dick get hit with the golf ball. Talk about an anticlimactic ending. People still talk about that ending all these years later. Most of the time when films or TV try the "it was all a dream" trope, it comes across as patronizing and empty. But Newhart was able to pull it off arguably better than any other show before or since. And to think it all started with a joke at a Christmas party. Now it's time to hear from you. What did you think about the Newhart ending? Let us know in the comments section below.